Recently, Xi Jinping's close friend, the US ambassador to China, Branstad, left China without saying a word, and Xi Jinping was embarrassed about it. But even before he got over the shock, Foreign Minister Wang Yi was humiliated by everyone in Europe, and Xi Jinping had another shock to digest. After the recent clashes with the US, China has made a great effort to make Europe to its ally. And the meeting with three of the European leaders on September 14 would have been another opportunity for China, promoting a comprehensive investment deal with Europe that has been going on for 7 years could boost the Chinese market. It has been a long time since Xi Jinping was surrounded by foreign leaders, and that could be used for China's internal propaganda. The meeting was attended by the President of the European Council, the President of the European Commission, and the Chancellor Merkel, President of the Council of the European Union. The meeting started off with a good atmosphere. The participants joined in to greet each other. However, as the atmosphere gradually changed unexpectedly, Xi Jinping was embarrassed. All three European heads of state and government publicly expressed their distrust toward China, and the first that has taken the opportunity to offend Xi Jinping was unexpectedly the China-friendly person Merkel. Merkel urged Xi Jinping to make a statement as to whether China is really striving for an agreement with Europe and called for equal and fair competition from China. In addition, Charles Michel also called for fair competition and added, Europe is no longer a playground for other countries. The President of the EU Commission, Ursula, also said that Chinese President Xi Jinping has to respect human rights and the need for international cooperation to combat the C-19 pandemic. As China's economic competitor, the EU, with its 27 states, is struggling to wage its commercial interest against its human rights concerns, especially as Beijing has become more assertive in recent years. These three people said, the system is different, but everyone has to follow the rules. In return, Xi Jinping warned against excluding Huawei in Europe and limiting investment in Chinese companies. He warned the Chinese companies in the EU area to act fairly. We are watching the latest EU move. Indeed, China is making a $180 billion surplus in Europe through unfair trade that grants large subsidies to state-owned companies. President Michel raised the issues of human rights related to Hong Kong, Xinjiang Uyghur, and Tibet rights before Xi Jinping, and those comments angered Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping said, "There is no universal way to develop human rights in this world. Protecting human rights is not the very best, but only better. Countries should mind their own business first. We assume that the European side can resolve its own problems in relation to human rights. China does not accept human rights teacher and reject double standards." But Xi Jinping was so excited that he said "gyushaya," not "gyusha." "Gyosaya," this word is a dialect of his home province Shanxi and is never used on official occasions. Xi Jinping was unexpectedly attacked on the international stage and was so excited that he even spoke in dialect on the international stage. Last month, Wang Yi was persecuted by protesters from Hong Kong, Tibet, Uyghur, Falun Gong, and shamed by criticism from European leaders. In addition to trade and human rights issues, the second wave of Wuhan pneumonia has severely affected Europe, and that's why the EU is increasingly adopting US views about China. The German newspaper Süddeutsche Zeitung reported, Europe must resist the temptation of Beijing. If we not resist, we will be dragged along in the end. In particular, German Foreign Minister Maas, who pointed out that Wang Yi could not threaten Europe, has officially announced the possibility of joining the US strategy in the Indo-Pacific against China. Recently, Jim Hockenhall, director of the UK National Intelligence, also pointed to China as the greatest threat to the world order, thereby confirming the European atmosphere of turning a pro-China into an anti-China. Last year, Prime Minister Merkel urged to send a UN delegation to investigate human rights violations into the Uyghur Autonomous Region. And this time, Merkel also said China has to take responsibility for its human rights violations. With the atmosphere in Europe rapidly turning negative, the anger of the Chinese Communist Party is now focused on Secretary Pompeo, for the simple reason that Foreign Minister Pompeo shares a responsibility for China's global restriction. Since April, the Chinese authorities have been accusing him of being an enemy of the mankind, a political virus as well. And still now they continually cursed Pompeo with condescending swear words. On September 12, the state-run newspaper Beijing Daily published an absurd article referring to Pompeo as a fat pig in place of his name, when he expressed the concerns about the safety of 12 Hong Kong imprisoned Democrats in China. Chinese internet users did not sympathize with this approach but criticized it. CCTV called Pompeo the enemy of the people, and Beijing Satellite TV called him a slave of 3 surnames. Now the Beijing Daily has named him Fat Pig. Is this a swell word competition? It is very inappropriate and indecent to use the nickname Fat Pig directly. The style of the Beijing Daily deteriorated a few decades ago, and it is not correct. Because of the harsh public expression and opinion, the Beijing Daily silently deleted the article, but it has already been captured and can therefore be viewed on bulletin boards. Meanwhile, Xi Jinping's last glimmer of hope, namely Europe, is disappearing. On last 30th, Secretary Pompeo visited Italy and had a long conversation with Italian Foreign Minister Maio on issues related to China. Although Secretary Pompeo did not mention a specific company, he indirectly emphasized Huawei's exclusion from the 5G construction project in Italy. The US government urges the Italian government to carefully examine national security and personal data threats posed by Chinese technology companies. In response, Maio expressed his willingness to work with allies including the US on issues such as 5G and China. We are NATO members and we support this alliance. We firmly believe in the values that all Western democracies share. This shocked China deeply because Italy had a close economic and diplomatic ties with China and was the first Western countries to join China's One Belt, One Road project. Thanks for watching. Be safe.